that coming up. You know, I know they have to put on something together. Okay, go ahead. Children can stay with us because it's going to be a fun presentation.
Very good.
Yeah, we every summer this church kind of been missing for summer because we are all over out there in the world. Some people may not feel, comfortable with that. But if you feel comfortable that you at least sacrifice 1 month of your 12 months, you don't have pastor here, you are with us, amen? You just don't go to a church, you're looking for somebody up there. But this is a church, we take our mission very seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously, per se. We can have fun, but we take mission very seriously. And so we spend a lot of effort. So this is a great team out there. So they will be presenting to get their PowerPoint ready. After their testimony, we'll have a time of, we call it breaking bread here, just to remember Jesus together. What would be the wonderful thing, just have mission and then breaking bread together with brother and sister fellowship. Amen?
Amen.
And after that, after we break the bread together, I'll have a time to put oil on anybody with any sickness and you need some physical healing. You can come over, I'll put oil on you. That's according to James. Anyone who is sick, you can ask the elder in the church, put oil on you. And Jesus Christ will heal you. Amen?
Amen.
And that's what we're going to do. And I don't have no power, guys. It's Jesus Christ here. Amen?
Right.
We're going to honor and glorify Him only. Are you guys ready? Yes.
How do I put this on?
Here can help you. Right. So whoever wants to talk, need to talk either on this mic or this mic. You have to pass it around. This is hot too.
Which side? Testing. Alright. Which ear does go on? Any ear.
No.
Can you guys try to
Spread out.
Yeah.
Spread all the way. Just so spread out. Ben, get everybody on this side. A couple people here. A couple here.
Yeah. So when you're presenting, you can yeah. But if you want to see the slide, you can move up here to the center so you can kind of see that.
Whoever presenting coming here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Testing. I kind of feel like Conley right now.
You have to jump up and down a couple times.
you're ready to take the Hello.
Progress one. I like that.
It's working.
I'm getting Alright, so hi everybody.
Hello. How are you doing?
Does this microphone work?
Yes.
So yeah, just a brief introduction. This is our mission team. I guess we can introduce ourselves. So, my name is Ben. Hi.
I'm Karina.
Okay, I'm Thomas.
I'm Irene. I'm Monica. Irene.
I'm Zach. I'm Kevin.
Alright.
Nice hat.
I'm Kier.
Alright.
And then just 3 members that were missing today, but are still here in spirit. I can point them out for you.
And Ming. She's in the back.
Oh yeah, Ming's here. Yeah. All right, so 3 people. Here's Jennifer. I think we all know Jennifer. All right, there's Jennifer. And then here's 2 newcomers. This one is Joanne. And that one's Hannah. Yeah.
2 sisters. Yeah.
So they're here in spirit. All right. So to kickstart our mission trip, this is our 3rd year doing this. But yeah, we start with some team building. We can't disclose the locations of these places. So this place is called Destination L. But yeah, as you can see, we had a beautiful hotel. Oh, whoops. Sorry. I'm moving too much. Alright. So that's our hotel. And then here we're just doing some team building. So it's pretty cool. And Destination L is actually at around 7,000 feet elevation.
Wow.
Which is kind of high. Alright. And then here, you got to taste some of their local cuisine. There's like youtiao. There's also tofu. Yeah. And there's our beautiful hotel again. Alright. And so yeah, this is Hannah. She's not here right now, so luckily she can't see the slide. But yeah, so we made our way after team building to Destination S. And here's the bus ride, there's Hannah. And on the way, we saw some pretty beautiful scenery. So, Destination S and L, if you're keeping track, are located in Province Y, which is not like, I'm taking notes, all right. Which is in like part of China that's not like, you know, the big cities. So, here you can see like a beautiful valley. And then you have some nice farming fields. Lots of space, lots of green. And then, hey, it's a nice mountain with some, you can see how big the mountain is too. Because those are like buildings. Alright. And then, hey, this is us at Destination S. And this begins our mission trip officially. No, you're using this. Can you change this?
It works. Okay, so after our 4-hour bus ride up to Destination S, this is higher up in the mountains, so it's about 10,000 elevation.
Wow.
So here it's a little hard to breathe, and we have to take some like altitude medicine a few days just to get used to it. And here is the place we were staying in. There's also a restaurant and a cafe. And the first day we got there, we actually got a really nice meal cooked by one of the chefs. And it's like vegetables from their farm, so it's really fresh.
Oh,
So like it puts in our nutrients, and it's really good. So a couple years ago, in 2012 was it? There was a big fire that burnt down their old town actually. So this year we got to see the rebuilt old town, and they were like renovating and everything, and all the new buildings were up.
I have a question, sorry. What's the name of the place?
Cafe C.
Yeah. Cafe
Alright, Cafe C, I got it.
So they actually have 2 locations, one in where you saw us eating, and then they just finished and in progress of completely finishing their new destination. And every morning at Cafe C, where we also stay, we had morning worship, and where we just got together in a whole group, and we there's one person or 2 people leading worship every day, and we sang some songs, and each day also one of our young adults led a little bit of passion. Devotions, yeah. And in the bottom left picture, actually, I think Jen wasn't feeling, is that Jen?
Yeah.
Jen wasn't feeling well, so we all gathered around her and put our hands on her, prayed for her. And Ben.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, and here we are at the old town at their other location, and we were also helping them build. So we were, I think Ben is carrying some supplies.
So we're transporting supplies and materials.
And so on C wanted us to help draw some signs for the cafe, because she thought that the location was a little bit too secluded. So here we are, we're just drawing the signs and painting to put near the main road so that people will come to the cafe. And here's the interior of the newly built Cafe C.
Hey, up to here. Here.
This is on top of Cafe C, the roof. They asked us to build a wall, I think it was.
Yeah, to cover like a stone wall with like wood.
Yeah, it was like something like, see that tarp on the right? Something like that, we covered it up with wood. And that's us building it right there. That's what it looked like, the finished product. First we built it on the ground, me and beautiful Kevin. Then we started placing that same replica on the wall. And it came out wonderful.
Wait, so your strategy was kind of different, right? You didn't build it directly on the wall. What did you do?
Nah, we built it, we started on the ground, we built it so we could get an idea of what we wanted. And then we took what was on the ground and put that on the wall piece by piece. So it came out beautiful.
Wow. Is that Kevin?
Yeah, that's Kevin. Beautiful Kevin.
Oh, and that took us one day to do too, because
Whoa. Pretty cool.
That's true.
yeah, because it wasn't a whole day, but it was 3 days it took us to do, but it was like an hours of each process. It wasn't 24 hours. Oh, this is at Destination F, I guess.
Yeah, this is just the farm.
This is the farm. So this is the farm. They had a bunch of chickens and pigs, and that's Hannah with the dog.
That was a dog.
And Karina with some strange dog.
Oh,
But this is where they get most of their food and crops from for the cafe that we spoke of earlier.
Nice, very
Yep.
nice.
And we help them maintain this a bit. And in the next slide, you'll see what we all built there.
By the way, guys, the big pen right there, first year where we went, we were building that.
that's right.
Whoa.
Woo! Yeah. Yes.
Don't mind the sensors. These are staff. We just don't want to show their faces. It's for their safety. So.
For the safety, guys. Yeah.
Okay. So that's our group sitting down having lunch. This is like our break. Right after we work, we would take a break, and that would conclude our day. So there we all are, and some of the other staff there. We look very hungry because we work. As you can see, I didn't have a spoon in mine, so I literally ate with my hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And Kevin was probably passing out. And he was trying to feed me or something, and I don't know. But yeah, we were all very hungry. So here are the crops. The ones Karina was speaking about earlier at the cafe that we were eating. These are actually the crops where it came from. And we helped build like this trench there. You can see us. I don't know who that is in the yellow shirt. I think that's Irene Sue. Irene Sue with the yellow shirt right there, and Hannah, everyone. They were building. Were they finishing the trench?
I think they were. That was like one of the first ones.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things. That was like one of the first trees. And to the far left, you'll see some handsome young fella there. That's the trench we were building from scratch from the beginning. It wasn't already done. They were finishing this one over to the right.
Oh yeah. So these, just some background. These trenches are part of like a bigger project. If you kind of look in the distance, it's not super clear, but you can see like these PVC pipes sticking out of the ground. All right, there's a PVC pipe, right?
Yeah.
And so like the purpose of this was to, last year we like kind of cultivated the farm. This year we were building irrigation.
Wow.
So on the side here they have a vat of like bio waste, and we wanted to like connect that to those so we could just like irrigate them without having to like.
Were you being
just, like,
told what to do? Were you being told what to do?
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah.
They are adults, they're like experts helping out.
No, it's still here.
Okay. Well, there's Thomas right here spraying. He was doing what they would probably do before the piping. They would go around with a hose and spray all the crops. So they wanted to stop that, so that's why we built the pipeline. And
Good job.
oh, shit.
Wow.
That was the area we were eating in, but that's like across, like a little garden. Yeah, and above that is like a sleeping room. They sleep in there.
Yeah, so it's like a local style house, right?
And I don't know what Jen and Irene were doing.
Oh, they're like
Oh,
weeding.
they're waiting.
Yeah, so last year, most of our time was dedicated to weeding. So this year we kind of moved on, but there's still, stuff to be counted.
Oh, yes. So this is where you get to really see our physical physiques. So that's me and Irene Sue going ham on that trench right there. Yeah, we were like, by the time we were finished, this wood here was,
Oh yeah, it was
the dirt was up there. We banged the dirt down to where you see it. And it got even lower than that. Like you see my feet is like submerged. That's because that's how deep it was.
Wow.
Yeah, when we were finished, you could only see our heads. No, I'm joking. It wasn't that deep, but it was pretty deep. But yeah, and that's more of us working on the last church when we were finished the last one in the top left. You can see Thomas's butt. Yeah, it was beautiful too, and very hot and exhausted. And the elevation was
10,000
feet.
it made things a lot worse because we couldn't even breathe. Like, 2 swings you were done.
But we kept going.
And we broke the tools 100 of times. The tools, they couldn't handle our strength, so we
Yeah,
kept
actually, no,
breaking.
here, that was just you.
Yeah.
Only here.
Okay, so I broke all of them.
Alright.
Okay, so this is the old town of Destination S. It's at night, so it's really pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a picture of, they have every Friday now. So everyone, all the people, can I say what people they were?
Just like tribal people.
Okay, the local ethnic minority would come and they would dance as a way to like be in the community and just like show off their culture and their traditions. And it was really interesting just to see how like happy they were when they were out dancing, and they really welcomed all the foreign people. As you can see, a lot of these are tourists, and we actually danced with them too.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'll see if I can show that video for you. Oh no, wait, give me 1 second, while I'm doing this.
Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah,
Well, so like one of the things about the places we went was that the ethnic minority, there were a lot of them, and something that was really different was just that they were very, I guess, opposed to like foreign people coming. So
That's right.
and at first it was really hard for us to even like reach out to them. So I guess through dancing with them, this was one of the ways we actually interacted with them.
Amen.
And so they were all still very just afraid of people coming in general because they've been very oppressed by the government. And so it was really nice to see that this is a way we can be with them and to be in community. Yeah.
Actually, it's alright. We can show this
do a
later.
live demonstration.
Live demonstrate. That's even better.
Yeah, we had to like follow the people like in real time. Kind of difficult.
Yeah, they're really good. So can you go back to the picture?
Yep.
So the old ladies were the best at dancing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they could move so fast, and I couldn't keep up with them. So those were the older ladies who were like kind of teaching everyone, and they had this thing called the inner circle, where if you were good, you were in the inner circle.
Yeah, there were like 2 hierarchies actually. So like I actually went in the inner circle first. Like I didn't know there's like a hierarchy. Then I got pushed out. Yeah. Actually, you know what? We can look at the video afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're still interested, which.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. So this was also in the old town of Destination S. And so these are prayer flags. So each one of them is like represents a prayer that someone put up. And this is actually the biggest temple in the area. And so it was a very big, it's a very big landmark for all the people. A lot of people come just to see this temple. And so, like, by looking at this, you kind of get a sense of, like, the environment we were in. It's not very open to Christianity at all. And so it was just like, this was like their culture, and so that was something that was different.
Yeah. If you see like the prayer flags, like that's kind of like a territorial mark of like the Buddhist people. So those are just everywhere, just like a constant reminder.
This is also part of the temple. I think this is the place where they have a lot of rituals, celebrating like feasts or something. Like special holidays, they would have special rituals as part of their culture and religion.
But like the Tibetan culture, I think.
Yeah.
Culture. We have these like
local minorities.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
That's okay.
All right. So we didn't have any pictures for this part due to some mishaps, but we can still tell you the story.
So English lessons. So I was in charge of teaching English to the people at the restaurant, because they were a Western style cafe, and so they wanted to learn some English to serve tourists better who wanted to come eat Western food. And so I taught them things like, welcome, and you may be seated, and things like restaurant talk. And I think that it was pretty successful because all the people who were learning were really passionate about it, and they kept practicing to me, even like after the lesson was over. And at the end, their boss, I guess, told me that they were really grateful and that they really like felt like they were able to converse in English use their new English. And I think like praise God, because this really helped bless them.
Amen.
Amen.
And then they just started the children's ministry this year by a member at the place. And then me, Irene, and Greta, we just like a bunch of the local kids. We sang worship song with them. We played games with them.
Okay, so does anybody remember that old song? Maybe you guys sung it when you were little kids. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart Tuesday. So we taught a lot of the kids during that ministry, because we can't really disciple to them speaking and preaching about God's word. So instead of actually praising Jesus, saying his name, praying, we chose to sing these general songs that talked about love, joy, peace.
Right.
So we can minister to the kids locally, because they had people, it was a Sunday, right?
When some of them were in the old town, some of the...
It was a Sunday, so locally they had the kids just come in, because they just knew there was opportunity for, I guess, for babysitting their kids for like a few hours. So that spent time, like we start with the game first, and then after the game, we had snack, and then they took a little break, and
pillow fights.
Then we did worship with them twice. So getting to know the community over there and bonding with them, and then getting to meet their parents near the end, because they had to wait for pickup. So that was a great opportunity to, like, as well, to disciple to them, to let them know what their children were involved in doing.
We also had skits that we
we
for
did
the
skits.
kids. They were kind of like the parables, but instead of directly saying like the stories, we had to change them a little bit to make them more like modern, or something that would relate more to them, without actually mentioning anything about like Jesus or the lessons.
We did the Good Samaritan, but we just changed it.
Amen. Very good.
And we helped them, we got them to be a part of it as opportunity after we displayed our little play. We asked the kids if they wanted to volunteer and reenact their type of Good Samaritan story to help others in need, and it doesn't matter who they are around you.
Wow.
Who got the idea? So creative.
It was a team effort. And also for the English lessons, we also did skits, right? Like interactive scenarios. I feel like the girls were better than the boys. Just an observation. All right.
Sweet. Okay, so basically what we did is we had a potluck Monday night, because at Destination C, they Cafe C, they closed their restaurant to go to JHQC. So then basically, at this place, like, we basically, everybody cooks a dish, like Monica made sushi.
Nice.
Korean sushi.
And then Ben and I made
Rice.
Fried rice.
yeah. And then Irene made
We made beef and onions.
Whoa.
And we thought of it last minute because we had no idea what to get from the market. So we're like, okay, this is something quick and easy. Within 20 minutes, we'll be done. Because they have a small stove, so we can, utilize all the stovetops like we wanted to.
Oh wait, does anybody want to comment about the market?
Oh, it was super gross.
Yeah. Elaborate.
Well, okay, so before we went to, before we cooked, we went to buy all the food. And this is like unlike any market I've ever seen. There's like blood running down the sewer. Yeah, the locals told us that that's just the way they do market, and it was very interesting to see. Yeah.
Big heads on display. So real stuff, real stuff.
Oh yeah, there was also a staff that made rabbit. It's pretty good.
That's good.
So,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Savage.
okay, yeah.
That's alright.
That was Joanne and Hannah's dish.
Oh yeah, Joanna and Hannah made like pasta.
No.
Wait,
They made
no,
chicken.
never mind. They made like chicken soup.
Wait, isn't that like?
They like chicken with sauce.
My sushi was pickled with Irene and Kevin, so we all worked together. Because we were,
And a lot of the locals helped us.
yeah, because we were having trouble rolling the sushi.
Yeah.
And so like the locals, or for the staff of Cafe C, is kind of like customary. They're like a family, right? So every Monday afternoon, Monday evening, they just stop all their work and they get together and worship and then make food together in JHPC, which is really nice. So.
This is a pretty scenery that we saw. Like we went out like on someone's car, van, and then we saw pretty scenery.
Also, if you look at the clouds in the bottom right picture, you can see that they're like at the level of the mountains. So this is like 10,000 feet elevation.
Wow.
This is real. This is the real deal.
Oh yeah, and then this was a picture of the veterans who went last year. They gave us a cup of C. So yeah.
The veterans ceremony. Wonderful.
Alright. Oh wait, and then this slide, it's parallel with Anna's slide. And this just marks the transition to our second part of the trip, which is in Europe. Yeah.
Destination D.
No, this is not. This is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so it's called Dali. Okay, so this place has two parts. There's a city, and then they have an old town. We were mostly in Old Town, okay, so let's see. This is like one of the gates in Old Town. There's like
Four?
no, each
Six.
one
Six. There are six.
like yeah, like
There's like
six
the north gate,
gates.
the east
Four is for the each direction, north, south, east, west, and the other ones. In this picture, I think it was our first day here. So they were one of the guys.
This is Mrs. A.
Mrs. A.
Mrs. A.
Yeah.
One of our guides were showing us around the place. And
Just telling us the background of Dolly.
Yeah.
oh yeah, we also prayed on the gates and walls. Okay, so all right. Let's see. Rundown on each day. So every morning we got up. We did a little exercise.
Little warm-up dance.
Yeah, morning dance.
And then, did we do worship at that time? Sometimes, yeah. And then afterwards, Gongli would come up and, you know, preach about passion. I mean, we've all heard this before, but the thing is, some kids from Shanghai were there, and so basically he was teaching them too. So, and that was really what happened, like the first.
Yeah. So yeah, we call this GPS, but not like the GPS on your phone, like a global passion summit. Because with people from around the world learning about passion.
Top of the picture if you can't see. Okay, so the picture at the very top, people dancing to the morning song. Bottom left is us learning about passion here.
And so we each had like our own personalized like profile,
Oh, yeah.
and then like a booklet, which is really cool, high quality.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey.
Okay. I mean, all right. So on some days we would go out. Instead of I guess doing passion, we would go out and do some kind of physical outdoor activities. And this is like the first place we went to is up
A chairlift.
chairlift into like the mountains, and I think we visited a tea house
Tea house,
there.
yeah.
And then,
So got to see local culture.
yeah, and it was a small like village in the mountains. It's really interesting.
Was that Project Ireland?
We have the
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the local girls there at the tea house, like they can't leave, so if they want to find a husband, they have to. The husband has to stay behind.
Yeah.
Part of their culture, part of their culture.
So if you go up to the tea house,
The tea house
there's a
that we
bunch
go
of
to.
girls who serve you tea, and if you just so happen like one of those girls, you can't leave.
You have to.
You got to stay
Wow.
and live there. With her.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They almost conquered one of our members, but
Yeah.
we couldn't have that.
Okay. Nice tea though, yeah.
Sorry, this is the way now. Oh,
This is
whoa. Wait, is anybody in here using the
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi?
okay. So it's supposed to be another.
Yeah, you can take a word for it.
Down your shot at the channel. Okay, then these are one of the villages, those houses we came across. Very isolated.
Yeah. And also, this is kind of connected with GPS. As like a conclusion to it, we had a project, and that was to renovate this place called Highland Inn, or I don't know, Place H. But yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, Highland Inn. And so our purpose was to like renovate this.
It's
Was it?
It's like abandoned.
It's abandoned.
Yeah.
It's
But what was it originally?
It's like a lodge.
Yeah.
It was like a lodge. It had like rooms.
Yeah, and so we took a look at it, and our job was to find a way to fix it up.
Alright, so and at the end of the day, we held for this business proposal, we held some sort of a Shark Tank kind of
It was a competition.
Yeah,
It was a competition between
Um,
the teams.
We had 5 teams, obviously, and a panel of judges. I think we recognize one of them. And 2 others, also guides, but they also specialized in other stuff like business and law, I guess. So they're a panel of experts judging 5 teams, and we had to come up with a business proposal to renovate that area on the top of the mountain to something that will make, I guess, make money and bring.
The budget was we were given a set budget. We needed to use the money So like, how would we measure it? It was like, how much was it? 10,000 of us? It was, I forgot how much it was. We were given a set amount.
Yeah, so we were given like a strict budget,
Yeah.
and then it was very open-ended. We had to like propose. I think we had a zip line, we had spa house, we had something like Cafe C. We had a
You could look
tower.
at the pictures
Yeah.
and tell who won. Just by the celebration in the pictures, you could just already see who won the competition. The one on the top left.
No.
No, we didn't win. We lost.
Badly. Okay, so. Oh yeah, and so another outdoor activity. It's rappelling. So we go inside. So this is kind of like practice. We were learning how to rappel here. We're gonna do it again later. But in this one, we're just off the side of the dam, and they were teaching us how to go down. There were two types of rappelling. One went down into the water, and the other just went down to dry land.
Okay, so I'll see if I can look a picture of that. Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
So on the right side, that was like an aqueduct. You could like
It's a
you could
river.
rappel into like a dry area, but then on the left, you could rappel into that the freezing water.
It was very cold. Apparently, I didn't go in.
It's very fun. It's very fun.
It was, yeah, it was fun.
Anyone else? Any like personal testimonies?
Oh, go back to the last slide.
All right, all right.
So, Irene Sue was one of the few people who actually, this is really scary, she could probably explain it better, but she went down, when she went down, I believe, didn't you go head first?
Well,
Didn't you almost flip?
I was like the test subject because they have to have someone go down to hold the bottom first. But then it was my first time, so I almost fell over.
So, she's like literally, if you see her now face up, her legs were up and her head was down. And
That
someone
was
on top.
me. That was her.
Both of them.
That was me too.
Both Irene.
It was hard.
Four of us.
Yeah.
They all look the same. Anyway, but she was Irene, not this Irene, the other Irene, was upside down, like
You were like,
complete opposite of what you see there. It's kind of scary. I thought she was gonna fall and die. I was like, whoa, that's scary. I would not want to be her. That happened to her. That happened to.
Happened to me as well.
Oh yeah, happened to me.
The strategy is to keep your knees straight, not bent.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hindsight is 2020.
So yeah, that's that. That was scary and cold, like kept us in.
All right. Oh, here we actually have footage of. Can you explain?
Is that?
this is like where we actually got to climb the real rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that climbing?
Jen. That's Jen.
That's Joanne, but
Oh, Joanne, okay.
yeah. So this is like a cliff face. They had some harnesses set up, but this is like a real cliff face. And also Dali, even though it's not as high as Destination S, it's still like 7,000 feet above sea level. So this is pretty intense. Let's see if I can play this. So that's Joanne. She's here in spirit right now. I think that's ours at the top.
Yeah.
But yeah.
With the red colors.
Yeah. Alright. I have to put this one. Oh, yeah, sorry.
We went bike riding
Yeah.
around the lake. So
Yeah, our high lake.
Our highlight.
oh yeah,
Our high.
Mine.
It's like year. Yeah.
okay. So it's in total it's about 45,000. 45,000?
45 kilometers, right?
45 kilometers.
So like 26 miles.
Yeah, all around, and we each had our own bikes, and the guy there has a special bike.
Yeah, so that was our guy. I think his bike can reach a top speed of like 60, 80 miles per hour even. But it cost him about, how many thousand? A lot, just a lot. He had to like import it to Dom, which was kind of a struggle. Yeah.
All right, and okay, so one of our last outdoor activities, we went hiking up the mountain. It was a rainy season, and also a lot of plants, bugs, and dry branches.
Oh, wait, also,
we have the
what? The video? Oh yeah, just a note about this. It may not look that bad, like the bushes, the shrubbery, like the forest.
It's very
But
bad.
that's because at the beginning of our party, of our like a line, there was like a man with a machete. Yeah, cutting down all these trees. It was like a jungle. It was a jungle. So we made it down alive.
Oh yeah, so once we got to the top, we had our lunch, and then we had to come back down, but we came back down through the river.
Wow.
Or the waterfall. And the water was super cold.
This is true. Alright, I think we have a video. Just a short clip. You guys know how long this trip took? Like, yeah, down the river.
Yeah, a couple hours.
It was a very long way, and it's hard to move. Yeah, so we didn't have any ladders, we didn't have any climbing things. So yeah, that's what it was like going down. Alright. And has anyone here like ever been whitewater rafting before? Yeah, it's kind of scary, right? Like where the water is white, like it's like moving really powerfully, right? So around this region, some of these lakes actually are seasonal. So when there's rain, they'll be there. When there's no rain, they won't be there. Like this year, there was like a lot more rain than usual, right? So I'll see if I can visualize that later. But anyways, yeah. So lots of white water. Okay, here it is. So that waterfall on the right is normally like, you know what, I'll go here. It's normally like this wide.
Half this wide.
Yeah. But then this year, because of all the rain, it was like enormous.
Wow.
And so normally we'd go down this central path, but like that's impossible. So we had to like take a side route.
Wow.
But yeah.
Scary.
You can see us putting those water rafting skills to good use.
Yeah, the bridge was a warm up.
Yeah, the previous parts.
Wait, okay, I want to say something about these activities. So the purpose of them was because we just finished our passion camp. We wanted to like just challenge ourselves, and that was the whole point of these activities. And it was a big challenge. There were a lot of parts where we were cold and we were like miserable. And I remember someone like, we were going hiking and someone brought an umbrella, but he couldn't even hold it straight. But these activities, they really helped us like discover like how our passions like really show up when we challenge ourselves, and how we must learn to use them to our strengths. And in a lot of ways, these activities are they helped us see like each other and see how our passions are different from each other. So maybe someone who is like high experience would go down this waterfall like super fast, but then someone who was not high experience would go down slower. And so the point of these activities was to help us learn that we have different passions and we also have different strengths. And I think all these activities really helped us do that. And it also helped us like bond and learn like about each other really well. And that was the point of these activities. And like praise God that He was with us the whole time and He helped keep us safe. And we were cold, but we didn't die. We didn't have any major injuries. Well, someone like got a cut, but yeah.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Tears, literally.
So yeah, this was like what we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, put into use.
I think it also helped us a great deal with like our teamwork. So funny but also scary story. These two tour guides were supposed to have like a big like red bag of harnesses and helmets for the entire team, right? If you look closely at the picture, there's no big red bag. So as it turns out, there was a small group of people who didn't like feel fit to go down like these waterfalls, and so they went back down the forest path, right? But by accident, by some miscommunication, they accidentally took the big red bag with harnesses, helmets, and leftover sandwiches. But we didn't have enough harnesses for everyone. We only had like a coil of rope and these 2 helmets, and like the harnesses that the guides had. So praise God that the guides knew what they were doing. They were able to fashion like makeshift harnesses out of rope. But yeah, so I guess we were really tested. But we made it up. Okay, which was nice. We'll see.
Before the rock climbing picture in the previous slide, this is what we practiced on. There's in the middle of the old town of Dali, the guides had kind of like a makeshift rock climbing wall in the middle of the town, and that's where we basically got like I guess a tutorial of what we had to do, and we also had like a lot of fun just climbing the thing.
Yeah, lots of fun. Look at the right picture.
He's so happy.
I managed to the top. Yeah,
yeah,
he did. And
wait, just another word. So if you look at this picture, I think the guide in the yellow, Mr. J, Coach J, he actually built this wall all on his own with like handheld power tools. It took him a couple of years, but this is like a full 3 stories. Everything was handcrafted, and yeah, this was like his life's work, and it was really fun.
It was in the art
Lots of
museum.
fun. Any personal interest in that?
I'll say everything at the end.
Okay.
Oh, is this the end?
Almost.
So this was like our last day. We went to visit Sky, the kid in the picture, the school, and then we got to like introduce ourselves to the little kids. And then I guess it's like a Christian school, I believe. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure. Yeah. So and then we sang Chinese worship song with them. And then that's his 2 sisters in my arms. So I managed to carry them, one on each arm. It was really fun. Like we all got to like play with them. There was like different age groups and stuff.
Right. So
yeah, we did like worship. There was like on the TV screen, so we were just dancing along, singing along with them. They were really cute.
yeah, I think this marks the end.
And this, and marks the end of our trip.
Wait, yeah, what's up?
Can 3 of you give a testimony on what you learned during the trip?
I mean, however many of us. Yeah, sure.
At least 3.
At least 3. And then, yeah, here was our graduation, right?
Yeah.
So the end of
This was-
GPS.
This is when Coach K's family already left, so Jen and Irene had to present the
Certificates.
certificates of graduation.
Wait, no, the diplomas.
Diplomas of completing summit.
Alright, so those are the girls.
The girls, yeah.
These are the men. Okay, so now, I think this now marks the end.
Yeah.
So here's our final slide.
Okay, so just share. Okay, I can go first. Okay, so throughout this trip, this is, okay, we're doing like person single time, and we're each gonna share a little bit about what we learned and how we grew closer to God. So for me, a lot of this trip was finding like identity and like actually like being a leader. Like I was helping out on the GPS portion, and like I was really tested because some parts were really difficult. But I think like in the end, like I really learned to rely on God and to just let God like do His work and not worry about everything.
That's right.
And also just throughout the mission trip, I think God's really been showing me like my identity and how I work well and how I can use what I've learned to like further the kingdom of God.
Okay, so if you guys remember in the beginning when we first traveled to Destination S, you guys seen how deep inside the valleys, we were very high up with elevation inside the mountain area. So for me personally, I'm terrified of heights. If you go to the mall on the second floor, I could not even stand by the edge. Like all my friends know, everyone knows, like where did Irene go? Oh, I'm by the stores. I cannot be at the edge of that second floor. Because when I was younger, I had this terrifying nightmare that my grandpa, long time ago at the mall, he was walking with me in the mall and I dropped my toy through the second floor and then I seen it, and then in that dream somehow the gates opened up on the second floor and he fell through trying to get my toy and he died in front of my face. So that was haunting me for a long time. So then that happened, so I was asking God to please change my heart and change my mind, and the verse kept coming back to me. You'll find it in Psalms chapter 51, verse 10. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me.
Amen.
God kept playing that inside my head during the whole mission trip. Again and again and again. I kept praying and praying, praying. God, I just want to be changed. I want to overcome this. Because I knew all the challenges we were going to occur. Especially seeing all the endurance challenges when we went out into the wilderness, hiking, doing the bridge rappelling, the water rappelling. I remember when we left from Destination S, first off, because like coming in at first, I was very scared. So I was shaking inside the bus and I didn't want to look outside. Then I looked outside and I just started crying to myself and my chest started getting a lot of pain and I was shaking. But then when we were there, I believe, 10 days? We're in the first destination, right? A week, yeah. Okay, so then when we were leaving, something just sparked in my head. I knew it was God telling me, just look outside. Don't be afraid. And I looked outside the bus coming down, and I'm like, wow, everything's so beautiful. So that was the first portion of the trip. So that was my testimony. Then coming into Dali, when we were doing the outdoor activities, I was so amazed by how when we were hiking up, I wasn't scared because 2 portions I remember that on the edge they said, please be careful because if we slip, we will fall straight down. I'm not falling down today. It's not my time.
Amen. That's right.
So then doing the bridge rappelling, I actually challenged myself to do that. So when I first did it, I remember one of the little girls, Trini, who happened to visit from a different part of China. She kept checking on me. She's like, are you okay? Don't be scared. And I'm like, how does this little girl see on my face? So then I got in the rope, and then my mistake from not being able to trust that I can do it at first, I slipped and I fell like backwards. So my legs were in the air like this with my head down here, and I was screaming. But then I was able to go down.
Amen.
So I was amazed.
Yeah.
It was life changing. God changed my mentality.
Amen.
Wait, you also like climbed that 3-story?
Oh yes, the rock climbing. Yeah, I was surprised I was able to climb on the rock climbing too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say, but I'll say it nonetheless. So, I've been on this trip for 3 years now, and I think I kind of speak on behalf of the veterans, but it's mostly myself. This year, I wasn't too sure that I wanted to spend my summer at the mission trip. had some issues otherwise. But in the end, when I was there, it was totally different from like what I imagined. I'd been here for 2 years earlier, but that didn't change the fact that like the people were genuine, like at Cafe C, the people there were genuinely like in love with God and genuinely loved their work, and just being there, just I don't know, it's like a different environment. And I know it's kind of like me advertising, but if you could be there, I mean, that'd be really nice. But yeah, and then I also had, I don't know, kind of a search for identity. Up until this trip, I didn't know the kind of person I was. I was kind of like a people pleaser. So after a life of that, you don't really know who you are in the end. But when I went on this trip, I just kind of opened up. So there were new people, new faces, also old friends. But I just kind of, I don't know, like let myself go. Right?
Amen.
Yeah. And so interaction with the locals and even the people at Dali, the people from Shanghai and Taiwan, it was just a lot of fun. And I think I learned a lot. So.
Anyone else? Anybody
You guys
else?
in the back?
Just like a word or two.
Who's that?
I mean, for me, it's I guess on this trip. Well, I've been on the trip last year, and I mean, and for those 2 trips, really changed my life because before I was a really shy, quiet kind of person, and I mean, but through these trips, I think God like kind of opened up my heart, opened up to other people, talk to them more, and still got a long way to go. But I mean, it's
Yes, Lord.
the amount of progress made. It's all thanks to God. So I'm
Amen.
really grateful.
Anybody else?
If you want to go back to your work.
Do we know comments?
This one, right?
Yeah, so around that time, I guess my personal assistant's like, those who didn't know, I'm sure you guys know, the group of people that didn't go down were Thomas and me and a bunch of the other kids. So one of the kids, 12 years old, wasn't like, he said he was already drenched, so he wasn't feeling well. So I guess, okay, the bottom line is I got lost in the woods. And so I was with, I guess, a miscommunication that we had, because I had the 12-year-old, I was the oldest one in the bunch, I was over 18, so one of the kids had a phone, because none of us, our group didn't have a phone.
We didn't have any phones.
So we called Coach K, saying if we can get a ride back to the hotel, because he said he wasn't feeling good, and so being the responsible adult of this group, so I thought, okay, maybe I should take him back. So we called Coach K. I think you said something like, okay, we'll have someone. And then I think the phone line just cut it in the middle of something. And then we were like, okay. And then what happened was me and that little 12-year-old, we started walking. We were like, okay, we're in the woods. We're like, okay, was it this way? Was it this way? They all look the same. But we're trying to like find landmarks that we kind of remember. And then like we saw a water bottle. We're like, okay, so this is from like, we're like, okay, maybe we went through here. Let's go this way. So we went that way. Nope, going that way. And then somehow we just kept going in circles. And then we ended up going through a remote village. It was really frightening. I was like frightened for myself, but at the same time I was more worried, concerned about the 12-year-old I was responsible for. I'm just like, we were praying the whole time. I'm like, God, you'll get us out of here. So, okay, we got through. And then we actually like some part of me told me we should have just stayed in the village, but the kid was like, we should just keep going. Like, okay.
He's expedient, that kid.
Yeah. So as the kid with high experience, I'm like, okay. So and then we just kept. Then we asked some of the local people. They're like, oh, but we have to keep going forward. So we walked for 20 minutes through the remote village, and then next thing you know, we're on a highway. I'm like, okay, we're on the highway. We got out of the woods. We're past the village. Now we're hitchhiking on a highway. We're like, well, before we got to the highway, one lady was like, oh, you better take good care of your kid. I'm like, he's not my kid. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't be a better mom. So once we got to the highway, it was so cold. We were still wet. I was carrying book bags. I was like trying to keep him warm. And then I gave him my poncho. He was like, so we were hitchhiking. We're like, where are we going to find a bus? How do you hitchhike in China? You don't go like this.
No.
So we don't. And then at one point the kid went like, I'm like, okay, you're a kid. You're 12 years old. You can pull it off. I don't think I can do that. So next thing you know, we saw a car. Like we saw like a rickshaw-ish looking van. And then we asked for the guy like. He's like, oh, we asked, like, oh, we're going to this place. Can you take us? It was kind of frightening because it was just like we're asking for someone for a ride, and can we trust this person to our destination? You know, so I was praying in my head, saying in tongue. I was like, okay, we're gonna trust this. Luckily, like the 12-year-old kid had money because otherwise we're like, I don't think we paid for the ride. So when we were in the car, there was like other people in the car, so it was still pretty frightening. Yeah. Yeah. So and then the driver was like, oh, so what's the name of your hotel? Luckily, I had Joanne's camera. I didn't have mine, but she had a picture of the hotel sign. So we were like, okay, this is the name of our hotel. This is where we need to go. So that's where, and then when we got back, I guess, like you guys, Coach K, and then one was like, oh, you guys are all practicing, like what happened. So, but that's, like, for me, what happened here was like, I think I need to, like, this trip maybe change my attitude, how I look at things. So, there's still things I need to work on, but this trip has changed for me too, for the 2 years I've been. So.
We're cool.
And I'm here, we're back home, and the kid is back home too. Safely, we're back safely.
All right, okay, the team goes to the middle. Come on, let's lift our hands and pray for them now. Come on. Lord, we thank you for this team. You bring us back safely. In the name of Jesus, everything we learn in the field will stay in the kingdom of God. And just bless every kid here, every parent, all the people and the friends that have been helping on this trip. Lord, we thank you. Thank them for what they have been doing along this line, and bless every site I've been into, that whatever they are going, those who stay in the field, they really do the most job, and we are just there to help. So bless their family, bless their ministry, bless what they are serving right there in the mission field. Pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Come on, give them a hand. Hallelujah.